Good evening, dear listener. Tonight, as the fire flickers and the world quiets down, I want to tell you a story that will leave an imprint on your heart. It's a story of quiet strength, relentless love, and a miracle hidden in plain sight. It's about how the smallest souls sometimes carry the greatest gifts, and how a mother's love can spark a destiny no one saw coming. This is the story of Carla and her son, Mason. Carla lived in a small one-bedroom apartment on 8th Street in Dayton, Ohio. She didn't have much, not in money, nor in help. At 24, she gave birth to Mason, and by the time he turned 3, doctors confirmed he had severe nonverbal autism, along with a physical disability that affected his legs. She was a high school graduate with no college degree, no specialized training, and no family nearby. Just her and Mason and God. Every morning, Carla would carry Mason from his bed to the worn couch in their tiny living room. She'd feed him, talk to him, sing to him, even though he rarely made eye contact or spoke a word. He didn't walk. He didn't hug. But when she looked at him, something in her heart told her, he's listening. He's in there. She worked nights, 2 part-time jobs, a cashier at the gas station, and on weekends, she cleaned a dentist's office. Sometimes she'd fall asleep on the bathroom floor while Mason played beside her in silence. She cried more nights than she could count. Not because she didn't love him. She did, fiercely, but because she was exhausted, alone, and scared she couldn't give him the life he deserved. When Mason was 9, a local charity donated a used iPad to help with his therapy. Carla didn't know much about technology, but Mason took to the tablet faster than he'd ever taken to anything. He didn't just play games, he navigated menus like he'd built them. He memorized app layouts in seconds. Carla found him changing settings she didn't know existed. That was the first time she saw a flicker of light. By 10, Mason figured out how to type, even though he still didn't talk. Carla came home from work one night and found a document open on the tablet. It was lines of code. She thought maybe he'd accidentally copied it, but when she asked a neighbor, a local college student named Jamie, he said, "Carla, this isn't random. This is Python." Jamie was a computer science major. He couldn't believe it. "Your kid? He's coding, and not just typing stuff. He understands logic." Carla was stunned. "But he's never been to school. No one's taught him." Jamie shrugged, eyes wide. "Some people are born with music in their fingers. Mason's born with code." From then on, Jamie came by twice a week. He'd sit next to Mason and show him small coding challenges. Within months, Mason was solving problems that Jamie said were usually given to seniors in college. Still, Mason didn't talk. Not a word. But Carla prayed. She started reading tech blogs during her night shifts. She saved up tips to buy Mason books and software. When the laptop Jamie gave them broke, Carla sold her only ring to replace it. By 13, Mason built his first app. It was simple, a visual schedule for nonverbal kids like him. He called it Voice Inside. Carla sobbed the night she watched a video tutorial he recorded using AI text-to-speech to explain how to use it. "I made this for kids like me," the voice said, so they can talk with their mums. Carla dropped to her knees. For the first time, she felt like God was not just beside her, but working through her son. A month later, that app went viral. A teacher in Minnesota tweeted about it, then a special needs advocate in Oregon, then a tech journalist picked it up. Within days, the app had 50,000 downloads. Emails poured in. Carla didn't even have a website. A startup in San Francisco offered Mason a scholarship to their remote youth tech accelerator. Carla had no idea what any of that meant, but Jamie did, and helped her through it. Soon, Mason had mentors from MIT, Stanford, and Google. And one morning, at 6:12 a.m., Carla heard something she'd never heard before. A voice. "Mama." She turned around. Mason had spoken. Not through the iPad. Not through a speaker. His lips moved, and the sound was real. "Mama," he repeated, pointing to her, smiling. Carla collapsed onto the floor in tears. After that day, everything changed. He didn't speak often, but when he did, it was always intentional. Food, love, code, God. Simple words, but heavy with meaning. By the time Mason turned 16, he was named to Forbes' Next 100 list. He'd created software used in over 120 special education programs across the country. And Carla, she never had to work nights again. Mason bought her a house. With stairs, she didn't need to carry him up anymore, because by then, he'd also learned to walk, with braces and support, but on his own. One Sunday afternoon, a local pastor asked Mason to speak to a youth group via Zoom. Carla stood beside him as he typed and used the text-to-speech. "My name is Mason. I was silent for years, but I heard everything. I saw my mom cry and pray. She never stopped. That's why I kept going. I believe God gave me this gift so I could speak, not with my voice, but with my work. And so I could tell her she was right." The screen went quiet. Some kids wept. Some smiled. But everyone understood the miracle in front of them. Today, Mason runs a non-profit that trains kids with disabilities to code. Carla works there too, not because she has to, but because she wants to be part of what they built. Sometimes, life doesn't follow the path we expect. Sometimes it twists and turns and breaks us, only to build something more beautiful in its place. Tonight's story was not just about a boy who became a genius or a woman who never gave up. It was about the quiet miracles that happen when love, faith, and perseverance meet. It reminds us that divine intervention doesn't always look like lightning. It can look like a child with an iPad and a mother with a mop. The lesson here is simple. Never underestimate what love can unlock. Never stop believing that God is listening, even in silence. If the story touched your heart and would like to listen to more like it, you know where to find us. Good night.